Good day, IFL Nation. It is the final Wednesday of the 2024 Indoor Football League season. Last week we went over the lines and odds for the upcoming IFL Championship game on Saturday, August 17th, when the Massachusetts Pirates take on the Arizona Rattlers, a rematch of the United Bowl from 3 years ago, the final United Bowl before the rebrand to the IFL Championship game. Today I just wanted to give a quick short video here and show you the lines from ESPNBet. I know we've mentioned these guys several times in the past, so wanted to give all the folks over there a little bit of love and representation. And so their lines came out just this morning over here on the East Coast. And as you can see, the spread and the total is unchanged from the opening offering on DraftKings. Arizona is the 4.5 point favorite. The over-under is 86.5. The two main differences between the two books here are the odds on the spread and the total, which I'll talk about now. You see that number beneath each of those values is minus 115. Which means that betting on ESPNBet means that you are laying an additional nickel compared to the minus 110 value on DraftKings. This is one of the primary reasons why I stick with DraftKings, is that over the long term, that difference in odds really adds up. So if I were to make a switch in books going forward, for future years of this series, that number is going to need to come down to the default minus 110 value. The other reason why I like DraftKings is that they put their lines up no later than Wednesdays, which obviously allows me to keep the name of the series intact, which I like to do. It keeps continuity, people know what it is, whereas the ESPNBet folks, unlike this week where it's a little bit of a weird case with the bye week in between, lines for a given week on ESPNBet typically don't come out until either Thursday or Friday of each game week. So it becomes a little bit trickier to stick to that timeline when things are coming out on Wednesdays as we're accustomed to. But yeah, the lines unchanged. Odds are slightly worse. As for the money line, these are a little bit different as well. It is more advantageous to bet here if you are backing the Massachusetts Pirates at plus 150 for the outright win. They are plus 145 over at DraftKings. Conversely, the Rattlers are minus 190 over here on ESPNBet compared to a little bit friendlier value of minus 175 at DraftKings. So those are the main lines, but I know what people are far more curious about is the game props, which if you click into the game, you're met with your three typical bet types that we're familiar with: money line, spread, over, under. But under game props, there are a few markets here where you can wager on the first drive for each team, whether or not it winds up as an offensive score. You can go more granular than that with these couple markets up top that divide each score type specifically. So you could bet offensive score, no offensive score for grouped results. And for exact outcome of the drive, you have touchdown, field goal attempt, and turnover/safety. So these are some pretty fun markets that if you are on ESPNBet, you can dabble in if you so choose. In looking at some of these, I haven't been as familiar with these ones. But I do see a little bit value in the no offensive score for either team on the first drive. I just like the plus 200 payout a little bit better than just by going with the default offensive score value. You never know if a game can be having the tone set with an early takeaway or turnover on downs or something like that. So a little bit spread out on both here. If you do wind up with either team getting a defensive stand, like let's say you put $5 on both, worst case scenario, you lose $10, but if one team does happen to get the stop, it results in a push on the total. The other thing with ESPNBet too is that as opposed to the regular season, when these betting lines would close upon kickoff, the playoffs actually offer live betting on, from what I've seen, the spread, the over-under, and the upcoming possession. So if we were to look at these as the game is taking place on Saturday, we'd be able to see like 4th Massachusetts Pirates drive or 5th Arizona Rattlers drive, depending on where we are at over the course of the game. So that's going to wrap it up for this little bonus installment. I hope you have enjoyed taking a deeper dive into the ESPNBet offering. When I make my way over to Vegas later this week, I will also try to track down the values that I found last year at William Hill Sportsbook to talk a little bit more about those. So, again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this, and if all goes well, I'll be seeing you guys in Sin City.